Just in case you forgot about Jimmie Johnson, he reminds you once again that he could be the man to beat this season with his second Daytona 500 triumph. Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort. Joining me now on the phone, our NASCAR writer, Bob Pockrass. Bob, you're still down to Daytona. Jimmie Johnson gets the win. Not a lot of passing on Sunday. How was Jimmie able to secure this victory?
He was able to secure this victory, number one, because he had a fast car. He had one of the strongest cars in the field. He proved that by being able to pass the high line by using the low line, and very few other drivers could do that on Sunday afternoon. And then once he got out front, it seemed like that the low line went away again. Nobody had a strong enough car with strong enough support from other drivers to be able to make a run through there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried. He only got to second.
Yeah, he did get to second. That's the second year in a row that he's finished second in the 500. Obviously, that's a good finish for Junior. I'm sure he wanted one more place. How does that set up the season for the 88 car?
I think it sets up really good. First of all, because, you know, kind of maybe missed in the whole Saturday accident and the horrific thing we saw there. I mean, Junior took a pretty good hit in that accident. And for him to be able to bounce back and finish second sure gives that team a lot of confidence that he is healthy. And obviously a lot of confidence in the fact that, hey, we're second in the points. You know, not starting out in a hole. It's a huge deal because, you know, I think this is a team that would maybe have a hard time playing catch up throughout the year. This is a team that needs to be kind of out front, be in that top 10 all season in order to make the chase.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phoenix should be a good track for Junior. Hasn't really run that well there. With Steve Letarte as his crew chief. Now, a lot of focus, obviously, on Danica Patrick. I thought she handled herself very well. Didn't lead the first lap, but did lead some laps in the middle of the race. Came home 8th. So just assess her performance at Daytona.
Well, I mean, it's great performance. I would say it's like as long as she didn't wreck and as long as she finished, that would be a good day. Because, you know, hey, people get shuffled back in the draft. You know, things happen, and until you kind of experience it, it's really hard to handle. She was third going into that last lap. Junior kind of made a move. She didn't go with him, and she, you know, went backward to finish 8th. But, you know, I think it was a great day for her. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if it's good for Junior to get his season started off, I think it's equally good for Danica. And she did seem hesitant at the end to really make any moves, just kind of held her line there. Now, we did see some big names at the bottom of the score sheet at the end of this race. We saw Kevin Harvick. We saw Tony Stewart down there. And, of course, we saw a couple Gibbs cars, namely Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth. So talk about the big names having bad days at Daytona, Casey Kane, another guy who had a rough day, and specifically about the Joe Gibbs race cars. Because, you know, in my mind, they've always had some mechanical issues that sort of seem to linger throughout the season.
Well, I mean, this was a Toyota issue. And, you know, because Toyota builds their engines, and they were both engine issues for Kenseth and for Kyle. I think they were different engine issues, different pieces. That's a quality control at Toyota and not really at Gibbs. But, you know, certainly it starts the year off, I would say, more on a sour note for Kyle Busch than for Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth gets out of his car, and he's like, you know, yeah, I led 80 laps or whatever, and, you know, it was a great start, even though the points don't show it. It was a great, you know, beginning for my tenure at Joe Gibbs Racing. And Kyle gets out of his car, and he's like, oh, this is 2012 all over again. So, you know, I think, you know, it's going to be a lot easier, I think, for Matt to get out of this hole than for Kyle.
Yeah, it's definitely tough if you're Kyle Busch to watch another good race car end up finishing poorly at Daytona. Listen, Bob, thank you so much for your time today. I know you got a long trip back. We'll see you when you get here.
Okay, thank you, Tom.